Came down to the littlest things. You know, the punt block doesn't happen, who knows? The fumble doesn't happen, who knows? The missed field goal doesn't happen, who knows? The interception, who knows? The OPI, who knows? Estime sticking the ball out 3 more inches, who knows? Damn. Tough, man. There it is. There's the season. What a long, strange trip it's been. It's crazy. You know, it's crazy to see a season come to an end. There it is. New Orleans finishes 6-11. Goes 4-1 in their last 5. Tyler Shough, big performance today. Gutsy performance from everybody. Audric Estime. I mean, what can you say? Wow. Damn. Wild game. Interesting game. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. 17-19. If we look at the team stats here, turnover battle decided the game. I mean, especially if you factor in, like, you know, the block punt and all that stuff. But tough fumble from Juwan, first play of the game. Tough pick from Shough. Brutal pick from Shough. Saints win first downs, total yards, YPP, time of possession, but lose the turnover battle. And in the NFL, you lose a turnover battle, that's enough to get you. And it got them. It got the Saints in this one. So, tight stuff. Saints probably deserved the win there. But it was, you know, I mean, almost 2 yards better of YPP is pretty substantial. But the turnovers were absolutely the difference. You know, when it comes to that block punt and comes to the pick at the end. Some hard luck stuff, like the obviously the OPI and all that stuff, like, you know, tough, brutal, but gutsy performance. You know, I think someone asked me if a loss would change anything. Not really. I think you wanted to see a good effort from the team. I think you got a really good effort from the team. And I think you wanted to see them go out there and fight and compete, and they certainly did. You know, could Shough pull a rabbit out of his hat? Almost. And the pick got him. First pick since November 30th, and it gets him. So, tough, man. But what a fun season. It was such an exciting season. You know what I mean? Like, it was such a fun season to be a Saints fan. It was such an exciting season to be a Saints fan. Said it from the jump. You know, said it from the jump. Like, this was the exciting time to be a Saints fan because you're seeing so much new. You know, you're seeing so much of the unknown. You're seeing a new coach. You're seeing a new quarterback. You're seeing new wide receivers. You're seeing new everything. And, you know, just amazing. And it lived up to the billing. It absolutely lived up to the billing. And, you know, it was fun. And hate to see it end. Hate to see this one end. This was a really fun season, especially for me, you know, covering the team. Week in, week out, day in, day out, all the videos, all the time, all that stuff. Like, it's crazy now. It's like, all right, they will not play another game until September next year. You know, it's crazy. Like, a really crazy feeling to be like, all right, now we got to wait until September. Now it's the off season, right? Now it's all that. So, but entertaining. And even this game, you know, even this game right here with, you know, we're down to Dante Pettis and Kevin Austin and Ronnie Bell and Yaya Toure, and, you know, even down to that, like, this team made it exciting, and we gave Atlanta everything they could have asked for. And Atlanta, coming off of a huge win against the Rams, like, that's the kind of talent that they have and the kind of game they can have. And this team shuts down Bijan Robinson, 15 carries for 33 yards, 2.2 yards a carry. I would assume that's Bijan's worst game of the year. Like, I would assume that's, so Chase Young was a monster in this game. I think you got to feel good about that. You got to feel good about, where the defense is moving forward and where Chase Young is going forward. And, so just, it's kind of shocking. I guess I'm kind of numb that it's over, and it's kind of numb that the season's over and it happened. Like, this was such a long, strange journey of the Kellen Moore thing and the Spencer Rattler versus Tyler Shough, and then Rattler starting, and then Shough coming in, and then the Falcons lost at the Dome, and then all of a sudden the team's playing better, and like Shough trying to get Rookie of the Year. Like, it's just so much took place, so much happened, and now this small chapter of this team's story, this chapter of the book is closed, and now we go into next year. Now we go into the offseason and we start to really entertain free agency. We start to really entertain the draft and mock drafts, and we're looking at all that stuff. And so does Shough win Rookie of the Year? No. It's done and dusted. The Rookie of the Year is done. Yeah, no, I don't think he can win now. I don't think he had good enough of a game. If he doesn't throw that pick. If he doesn't throw the pick, and if they somehow win at the end there and he goes on that drive, then he probably does win it. But the pick probably ended it. So, yeah, I don't think he wins it, unfortunately. But hell of a ride. Hopefully everyone listened to the videos this week and hedged out or did what you had to do to make sure your situation was right. I know a lot of people messaged me and said, they cashed out or hedged out for $6,000 and all that stuff. So hopefully everyone did what they had to do. But who wins it? Probably Tet. I guess Tet will win it. I guess he'll end up with it. What did Dart do today? Let's see. Dart ended up. I don't think he had a good enough of a game. But yeah, Tet will probably win it. But man, crazy. Like I said, it's just really just kind of shocking that it's done and dusted, But man, damn, it was right there. TreVeyon Henderson, I guess that's true. If TreVeyon Henderson has a huge game today, if he has 150 and 3 touchdowns or something, he could win it. So it's up to Henderson. If Henderson doesn't have a huge game, then Tet probably wins it. But Henderson absolutely could. Henderson definitely could. But, man. Let's see here. Let me get caught up on Super Chat. Desert Vortex Dog Super Chat at $2. You deserve a vacation to Canton. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. B-Rive2 Super Chat at $4.99. No lie. I have to say I thought Spencer was better, but I'm here to say Shough is our franchise quarterback. Who dat? Scott Hefner has super chatted $9.99. Hats off to you for pushing through the hard weeks. Big future for the face of the franchise and the Saints. Also, big tip of the cap to the terrific Saints D. With Shough catching headlines, they missed their due. True. I mean, the defense was really, really good. The defense was really, really good. This game, this was probably the defense's best game of the season. This was a crazy game from the defense. You're facing a Falcons team that's kind of hitting their stride offensively after the Rams game. Bijan, legitimate offensive player of the year candidate until this game. And then to put up this performance where you hold them to 3 yards of play, you hold Bijan to 2.2 yards of carry, you hold, what a performance on the road for the Saints defense. So, yeah, for sure. With a lot of rookies on that front, a lot of young players. You got Quincy Riley, Jonas Sanker, Danny Stutzman. Absolutely. What an effort from the defense, for sure. So the offense definitely gets the headlines because it's the offense, right? Like, offense just naturally gets headlines, but the defense definitely deserves their flowers. And what a performance this was. What a performance this was from them. Chase Young, another monster game, man. Granderson, monster game this one too. They were really good this game. Really, really good. Really good. Man. But, just one of those things where it was a hell of a fight, but they just couldn't overcome it. They just couldn't overcome, they just put themselves in a bad position with the punt block and the missed field goal and all that. So hell of an effort, but in the end, just came up a little short. Damn, man. This is a crazy feeling. It's a crazy feeling. It really is. Because even this game, like this game right here, it's like, I always say, like, you fight, like you watch a game and you're fighting and you're cheering and you're rooting and you're whatever for 4 hours straight. We start watching this game, 11:55, and it's 3:17 now. So, like, for 3.5 hours, you're just rooting and cheering and you're tight and you're tense. And then all of a sudden, game's over. All right. And usually it's like, all right, game's over. You reset. You kind of just whatever. And then you look to next week. But now it's like, well, it's over. Like now it's just over. You just kind of sit there and realize, like, not only is this individual game over, but the season's over. So now you just kind of sit back and, what do I do now? Like it's kind of like, well, all right. Like Atlanta's probably in the same boat where you're fighting your ass off. You're so fired up. You're so whatever. You're so into it. And then boom, 000s hit the scoreboard. And that's it. And then you play Fortnite or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's wild. And I remember, games like that in the Dome where you go through and you're so fired up and you're so into it and all that stuff, and the game ends and you walk back and it's just like, all right, well, I gotta like let my CNS come down. I gotta reset. But then a day later, 2 days later, you start to prep for the next week or you recap the game or whatever. But this one's not like that. This one's just, there is no next week. There's just, now it's, you just go into the offseason. Such a wild thing. But, just like this, and this game too, like sitting back and watching this game and how close it was. And then you remember everything that happened in the game. It's like, man, as hard as they fought, as much of a chance as they gave themselves, without those big mistakes, and there were a lot of big mistakes, you wonder, like, how this would have ended up. How would this one have played out if those big mistakes don't happen? You know what I mean? So, wow. Like, even just the field goal. Even just the missed field goal, like take the punt block, the fumble, all that stuff, let them have them, whatever. It's like just the field goal. It's like you wonder how the final drive would have been. You wonder how all that would have played out. But we'll never know. We'll never know. Aldrich Estime, 21 carries, 63 yards, absolute workhorse. Shough ends up 23 for 35 for 259, a touchdown and a pick. Adds an additional 34 on the ground. Jawan, five targets, 3 catches, 61 yards, 1 incredible catch, and 1 really bad fumble. And then, but damn. Literally inches. Like, literally a game of inches. Literally a game of inches of even just Aldrich Estime. If Aldrich Estime, if he sticks that ball out an additional 3 inches, 3 inches, that's a touchdown. And the next play is the next play is a run for no yards. And then it was the OPI, and then we had to kick a field goal. right? So if that ball, like that changes everything, right? If the Kirk Cousins fumble, which I think it probably should have been called what it was, but if the Kirk Cousins fumble is flipped, they don't kick that field goal, who the hell knows? Like it was absolutely a game of inches. Absolutely a game of very important individual plays that came down to literal inches in this game, that in a meaningless game for both teams, right? Those individual plays that came down to inches changed so much. Changed who went to the playoffs, changed potentially who wins Rookie of the Year, like all that stuff. It's just what a sport. You know what I mean? Like, what a sport. Nowhere else can you go 18 weeks and 6 different things come down to 4 different plays that all individually came down to a centimeter here or an inch there or an inch there. It's crazy. It's absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. But overall, obviously, I think Saints fans come out of this feeling pretty good. I think you come out of this feeling pretty good. You answered your biggest questions, right? The biggest questions were the quarterback, the coach. You have a rookie head coach. You had Spencer Rattler to start the season. You had a rookie quarterback with Shough when he comes in. And they answered. You have the answers to those questions. So you enter the offseason with the 2 biggest questions answered. You got your coach and your quarterback figured out. And that's a pretty good situation. Some of those like secondary questions, like of course you wonder about Kelvin Banks when you take him 9th overall. He was really good this year, so you feel good about that. You feel good about Brandon Staley. You feel good about the defense. You feel good about Chase Young. So the future certainly is bright if you're going into the offseason as a Saints fan, and you're hoping to hit again on the draft class. You're hoping to hit again, just like you did this year. You're hoping to lean on Kellen and Brandon Staley and what they did this year as far as like identifying players, whether it's in free agency or the draft or however they do, and just kind of bolstering the roster and just kind of keep on keeping on. But I mean, even from, if you think about the whole year and you think about even stuff like Blake Grupe missing field goals, that seems like a lifetime ago, but that was this year. We were talking about that. Rashid Shaheed was on the team not that long ago. Trevor Penning was playing left guard not that long ago. It's crazy. It's crazy how much has happened this year. How many storylines, how many narratives. Chase Young was injured. Now Chase Young's the best player in the league. Chris Olave has his career year, renaissance. He's injured. There's a lot of moving pieces this year. It was not a boring season at all. And, certainly at one point, I think it was looking like a down year. It was looking like a bad year. It looked like we were going to have a lot of questions. It looked like we were going to have no quarterback answer, no coach answer, we were not going to have anything. Even at the beginning of the year, Chris Olave, Juwan Johnson, like those kind of guys, big time question marks. There were big time question marks around Chris Olave a couple months ago. And those questions are gone. Those questions are completely gone. And, Olave was fantastic. And he gets a blood clot, nobody can stop that. And thank God he's healthy and all that stuff. But, wow. Easy E, super chatted $1.99. Kellen called double slants 100 times. Interception bound to happen. Maybe. Yeah. What a time, man. What a time. What a crazy... I It's just, I mean, I'm really numb right now. Like, I'm really kind of just in shock of the whole thing playing out how it played out. And now, after 18 weeks, this book being shut, you know? But kudos to the guys. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of how this team fought. They could have absolutely given up at any time this year. You know, they could have, at any time, they could have given up. When they had one win, when they had no wins, the veterans could have fractured. The, team could have lost sight of what Kellen Moore was trying to do, or what Brandon Staley was trying to do, or whatever. They could have, divided the locker room with Tyler Shough and Spencer Rattler, and they didn't. The team didn't. And I think as a fan of a team, I think you always want your team to fight. You want your team to play hard. You want your team to be aligned motivationally with you as a fan. And they did, man. Like, this was an effort from the Saints all year long. Like, you have to applaud this effort 100%. You have to applaud this effort, no doubt. So, impressive stuff, man. Really impressive stuff. Damn. So now we go into the offseason. I don't think there isn't any kind of, like, just from the front office and the team, I don't think there's any hesitation at all to move forward with Tyler Shough. Like, I don't think there's any question at all that he's your guy. So the draft, I guess, is I got to identify what you want to do, and then do the same thing in free agency. Do you want to target a running back in the draft, or do you want to do that in free agency, or are you okay with the combination of Alvin Kamara, Kendra Miller, Audric Estime, and Devin Neal? Wide receiver. Like, are you cool with some combination of Chris Olave, Devon Vele, Palmer, Polk, whatever? Do you want to add somebody? Do you want to add them in free agency? Do you want to add them in the draft? Whatever, like, now it's time for the front office to kind of make those tiny decisions to lead us to the big decisions, $15 super chat from Saints Forever 24. Big kudos to you and your content this season. Can't wait to see what the face of the franchise brings in the offseason. There you go, man. Thank you. Yeah, and that's part of what's just so crazy about this. 2, 3, 4 videos a day covering this team 24 hours a day, the hours and all that stuff that goes into this, the streams, like live streaming every away game, live streaming the draft, all that stuff. Like, this is the end of a long marathon, for me. So that's another part of where it's like, oh my God, like, it's just crazy to see it. It's just crazy to see it as a whole thing. It's like, my perspective on this is nuts. My perspective on this is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Easy E, super chat at $4.99. Thanks for the content, James. Happy how we fought down the stretch and found our quarterback. Let's get some weapons. Who dat? Yeah. I'm fired up, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for the offseason. I'm excited for free agency and the draft. And, yeah, I'm excited to see the development. I'm excited to see the development of these guys moving forward. I mean, it's not even just Shough, too. Like, I'm excited to see the development of Jonas Sanker and Quincy Riley and Danny Stutzman and Chris Olave and Devon Vele and Kelvin Banks and Talise Fuag, like, all these guys. I'm excited to see Eric McCoy come back. I'm excited to see Alvin Kamara, like, all these. I mean, it's just, Chase Young and Carl Grant, like, everyone. It's just it's an exciting time for sure. For sure. Thanks for the content. Thank you for watching, man. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching, man. What's next? The offseason. The offseason is, well, I mean, the playoffs are, in the NFL, playoffs and all that stuff, but we get through the playoffs, we get through Super Bowl, all of that, and then then you think, or then we're into the draft and free agency. Do you think next year we're all in? I don't know if I wouldn't say we're all in, but we're definitely moving to a winning window. Like we're definitely a year ahead, 2 years ahead of where I think the front office or whatever expected us to be. So they probably will be relatively aggressive with free agency and the draft and things like that. They are probably thinking, I would compare it to Washington last year, where Washington was thinking like, all right, we're going to have a slow rebuild, whatever. And then Daniels explodes and the team explodes, and all of a sudden they go get Deebo Samuel and they go, they trade for Marshawn Lattimore and they kind of do some stuff they just get a little more aggressive. And I think the Saints, obviously it's not the same. Washington went to the NFC title game, but I think we will get a little more aggressive. Whereas if we would have finished this year with 3 wins, then it's another year of rebuilding. It's another year of, okay, let's take another year of trimming the contracts and trimming the roster and all that. And, then, but all that's gone. Like we're not doing that. We're not looking to trim the roster or trim the we're just kind of pushing forward now with this group, adding to the group with the draft. And then, but I think for sure this team is going to be, at least philosophically, competing for the division next year. Like philosophically, they're going to be thinking, okay, we are going to try and compete for the division. So what pieces do we need to bring in to do that? What pieces in the draft, what pieces in free agency, whatever. So thoughts on going Cardinal Tate, Mekhi Lemon first round? I mean, yeah, possible. I'm kind of open to the whole thing. I'm open to drafting a wide receiver or a tackle or a running back or a safety. It doesn't matter to me. I'm a best player available, trust Kellen Moore kind of guy. Like, if Kellen Moore says Mekhi Lemon's our guy, fine. If Kellen Moore says Jeremiah Love's our guy, fine. If they say Caleb Downs is our guy, fine. Like it's I'm cool with it. So that works for me. And we'll you never know which pick is going to be the pick. You never know which player is going to be the player. I mean, I don't think anybody would have expected Quincy Riley or Jonas Sanker or Danny Stutzman or any of them to have the impact they had. I think later on, sure. But for them to all play now and have the impact they did now, I mean, I think it surprised everybody. Chase Young he's 26 years old. Yeah, I mean, he's 26 years old. So, it's just a lot of young play. This year was a lot of youth. And a lot of them weren't supposed to play. I mean, Audric Estime's 22. Audric Estime's 22 years old, had 21 carries in this game. He's our fifth running back. He was never supposed to be getting 21 carries in a game. Like, think about all that had to happen for Audric Estime to get 21 carries in a game. But that's where we're at. Think about, so much had to happen for these young players to play. And man, did they. They really put out. They really showed out and put out a performance. And as a fan, you can absolutely build on that. You can absolutely hang your head high on that and build around these guys. Not everyone's a franchise player. Not everyone's a Hall of Famer, whatever. But as one unit, as one team, there's a lot of pieces. There's a lot of good out there for sure. Unbelievable. Unreal, man. But obviously, I think winning this game would have been insane for everybody. I mean, especially, if Tyler Shough, if he doesn't throw that pick, and if Shough throws a touchdown, and he's got 270, 2 touchdowns, another touchdown on the ground, that would have been just Disney Channel Friday night movie. That would have been a straight up Disney Channel Friday night movie. And he probably would have won Rookie of the Year, and that would have changed people's lives. You know, like that would have absolutely changed people's lives. But so, my heart breaks for them, for sure. It breaks for me. You know what I mean? So it just how it shaped up. This was more than a game, more than a season for a lot of people. So I'm also obviously thinking about them and all that. So, but I'm very happy from just a football standpoint. I'm very happy with where the Saints are right now. I'm very happy with them moving forward, where they're, what the future holds and kind of how they're going to operate in the offseason and next year. But September can't come soon enough. OPI sold the game. Yeah, I mean, that was one of those. OPI was definitely one of those moments where the OPI, the block punt, the missed field goal, the fumble, all those were definitely moments in the game that, absolutely could have changed the game. Absolutely. Losing Banks doomed us. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you lose your starting left tackle. You're already down everybody. And yeah, it was just another one of those things where it's like, bad interception, though? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he definitely wants that one back. And it's crazy, too, because, like, that's one of those things where you have that moment, right? Like, you have the pick. And I think a lot of people will remember the pick because, you lose. It just puts it's just a negative moment. I mean, I'm glad he came back and had the touchdown pass, but it's just a negative moment in that game. But like I said, that's Shoug's first interception since November 30th. He's been so good, and it was so rare to see him throw the pick. It sucks that it was in that moment. It was after the 34-yard run. It's as they get down there. It's with the game on the line. It's with the world watching. It's the last game of the season. And it happens, and it's like, damn. It's like, man, if that pick happens December 4th, like, no one cares. But the pick happens in that spot, so in the grand scheme of things, our quarterback didn't throw an interception for over a month. It's like, kudos, and I know Shough will be absolutely kicking himself for that. And even as good as Shough should feel about this season, I guarantee you Shough will be thinking about that pick more than anything. Like, I know I've heard YouTubers say that they'll read comments and they'll read thousands of positive comments, and then one negative comment will ruin their entire day. And I guarantee you that's how Shough feels, where, yeah, he had an incredible rookie year, but that one pick is what Shough's going to remember. I guarantee you. Face the franchise. Do you think Burrow gave up the sack record? It had some shades of Brett Favre to it. It had some shades of Brett Favre to it, for sure. For sure. James, what's your thoughts on the fumble called incomplete pass? It feels bad. Yeah, I thought it was going to stand. I think if they would have called it a fumble on the field, I think it would have stood. But I think it was more about the call on the field. 100%. Man, what a crazy! It's just crazy, man. I mean, I'm shocked. I'm sitting here shocked in front of you. 100%. And not even about this game. Like, obviously the game sucks. Like, obviously losing when you're that close to winning, and Shough is that close to an insane performance, and this team of practice squad. I mean, Ronnie Bell and Yaya Toure were not on the team 72 hours ago. Like, Yaya Toure and Ronnie Bell were playing Call of Duty Black Ops 7 last week. And now they're getting a combined 7 targets in this game. Ronnie Bell's getting deep balls. Ronnie Bell's getting fade routes. What an insane It's just crazy. It's just crazy how it all played out. Really crazy, man. Damn. Yeah, he had a great run. I mean, just, and that's life, though. You know, that pick happens. Well, yeah, this one definitely will sting for a couple days, for sure. Definitely will sting for Shough. It'll sting for weeks, I'm sure. Who was that who caught the one-handed touchdown? It was Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell. Yeah, Bell caught it at the end there. Ugh, man. What a crazy feeling, man. What a crazy feeling. I mean, like I said, like I'm really kind of going through this in real time after, because like it's basically like a triple threat match, right? Because I'm looking at this from the game, from this one game, Saints versus Falcons, 19-17, this box score, these team stats. But then you also look at it from the season, right? Because it's the last game of the year. So you look at it like, okay, how the whole season play out, the offseason, how's this looking moving forward, all that stuff. But then, like, I'm seeing it also from just how many hours and how much time this production of like the channel and the streams and the, all of that, like, coming to a crashing halt for just the season. I know it's not, we saw the offseason and all that stuff, but it's such a weird feeling right now. Like, it's absolutely shocking. It's a wild psychological place to be. It really is. It's like what? It's like, you know what it feels like? It feels like you know how, like, when you watch a show and you watch like like any show, like a Netflix show or something, and the show ends and you get like that show hole. That's what it feels like. It feels very similar to just a show hole. What's your view on Shough for Rookie of the Year now? He won't win it. He can't win it now. He can't win it now. If he doesn't throw the pick, if he does not throw the pick, I think he could have. If he does not throw the pick and they win, I think he does win Rookie of the Year. That's how close it was. But that's how crazy is that? He goes from, if he doesn't throw the pick and they win, he probably wins Rookie of the Year. But because he threw the pick and they don't win, he can't win Rookie of the Year. Like, that's a crazy razor's edge, It's a crazy razor's edge to be like, no, there's no way he can win it. But if he doesn't throw the pick and they win, he absolutely would have won it. It feels like the ending of Avengers Endgame when everyone turned into dust. Yeah, it does feel like that. Yeah. No, he definitely lost. Yeah, he definitely lost Rookie of the Year. Tet, unless Travion Henderson has an insane game right now, like, let's see if he's doing anything. He got a touchdown. So Henderson needs like 3 touchdowns and probably 120 yards. If Henderson does that, I think he's in the conversation for sure. But right now, it's Tet is going to win it right now. Yeah. Did Kellen Moore cook? Yeah, Kellen Moore cooked for sure. 100%. Yeah, I mean, Kellen, the greatest thing Kellen did was the culture. The culture that he built was the best thing that he did this entire year. That's what Kellen, like, like, people are going to say, yeah, I'm the winning streak and Tyler Shough and the offense kind of figuring itself out and whatever. But the fact that he didn't lose the locker room, the fact that people didn't give up on him, the fact that the team played hard, the fact that, like, all that happened, that was the best thing that Kellen Moore did this year. That was the best thing. He created an identity, a culture. He created a whole, like he did exactly what he had to do in year one. Year one was, can you come in, take a franchise that's rudderless, that has no vision, no leader, no nothing, like last year, if y'all remember, Cam Jordan was about to quit. Like last year, like the toxic infighting in the locker room. Last year, we had people. We were the reports were like they were parking in the wrong spots in the parking lot. They were not doing the work after practice and stuff. Like it was just a nightmare. And a year later, all that's gone. A year later, all that's over. A year later, there's a culture, there's an identity, there's a vision, there's something there. Like that's the best thing Kellen did this year. And to me, that's a hell of a coaching job. To me, that's one hell of a coaching job. So I think Kellen, there were some insane coaching jobs this year with Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen and Mike Vrabel and, Kyle Shanahan, D'Amico, like all those guys had crazy, super successful, really well done jobs. And so Kellen's going to get lost in that whole thing, but Kellen did an absolutely bang-up job. Absolutely bang-up job. If Henderson has a good game, could he split? No. Tyler can't win. Tyler's not going to win. Shough can't win. It's going to be either Henderson or McMillan. So, unfortunately, that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. The only question now is like, will Shough be at top 3? Will he be in the top 3? Because I think what will happen is I think him and Dart will split quarterback voting. That's how, like I said, that's how much of a razor's edge he was walking. You win the game, you don't throw the pick, you're the rookie of the year. You throw the pick, you lose the game, you might not even be a finalist. Crazy. When the Saints were 1-9, who could have imagined this turnaround and to end the season feeling like we were in such a great... Yeah, it's crazy. Such a good turnaround, for sure. What a turnaround. It really does feel like 3 seasons. It really does feel like, man, if TreVeyon Henderson would have got that touchdown, I see Ramondre just got one. If Henderson would have got 2 real quick like that, whoo. But it felt like 3 seasons. You had the beginning of the season with Rattler, then you had the beginning of the season with Shough, and then you had the end of the season with Shough. Like 3 seasons, and take away the quarterback. Like you had the Rashid Shaheed, Trevor Penning, you had all that going on. You had the Blake Groupie thing. It's just like so much was happening. Like doesn't it feel like Kendre Miller was playing football 5 years ago? Like, doesn't it feel like the last time he got a carry was 5 years ago? That was this year. This year, Kendre Miller is like the starting running back. This year. That feels like it was ages ago. Feels like ages ago. But that was this year. Like, we're sitting here like, Kendre Miller could be wide receiver 1 or running back 1. Okay. And then it was Devin Neal. And then it was Audric Estime. Just such a roller coaster. Such a up and down. So many storylines. So much happening. Wild. Wild, man. What a long, strange journey, ladies and gentlemen. What a long, strange journey. What a season. 6-11. The Saints end up going over their season win total, which again was absolutely impossible at one point. Absolutely impossible. If you would have told me when we were 1-9 or whatever, like, oh yeah, we're gonna win 6 games. It's like, brother, are you in what universe? You know? And then boom, all of a sudden it's like, hey, can we win 7 games? Hey, can this guy win Rookie of the Year? Hey, can this? What a shift! Get hyped for another Kellen Moore draft. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We was in the hyperbolic time chamber. That's what it feels like. It feels like we lived 5 seasons in one season. It really does feel like we lived like 3 or 4 years all in one season. That's exactly what it feels like. And it was just 18 weeks. How can that much stuff happen in 18 weeks? You know, you think it would be like, okay, like you look at some other teams and say, okay, they hit a peak and then plateau, and then it is what it is or whatever, and they kind of have their year. The Saints were just constantly bop, 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 up, down, up, down, up, down. Then like all of a sudden they're trending in this crazy direction where all of a sudden they're the talk of the town and all this stuff, and you know, wild, man. But I think, I mean, are you going to make videos of playoff? Yeah, yeah. We'll cover the playoff. The content won't change at all. Like we're still going to be putting out multiple videos a day. We'll cover the playoffs. We'll cover, you know, everything. The only thing we won't do is preview and recap Saints games. But yeah, the content we'll still cover a ton of content every day. What position are we looking for in round 1? Doesn't matter to me. There's about 7 positions we could draft in round 1. I'll leave that up to Kellen. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, that's crazy too. You know, like at one point it's like, all right, the Saints absolutely have to draft blank. And then it's like, all right, well, never mind. Now they got to draft this. And then it was like, oh, never mind. Now they got to draft this. And now it's like, they can draft whatever. Like if they want to draft Caleb Downs, fine. If they want to draft Jeremiah Love, fine. If they want to draft Mekhi Lemon, fine. If they want to draft Francis Maui Noah, fine. You know, it's just like, all right. Arvell Reese, fine. David Bailey, fine. Just whatever you think is best. You know, just your pick. It's up to Kellen. It's up to Brandon Staley. Whatever they decide, cool with me. Cool with me. Yeah, positions. I mean, it really doesn't. Like we'll do a ton of mock drafts, and it'll be nothing but, you know, y'all get a ton of like draft coverage and all that stuff. But in reality, like, yeah, it really kind of doesn't matter. Like, it's kind of just BPA. It's just, you know, if you know, if they say, hey, we're gonna get a wide receiver in free agency, we're gonna draft a offensive tackle. All right. Hey, we're going to draft a wide receiver. We're going to sign a guard in free agency. Okay. So, you know. Do I think ending on a loss will affect free agents' desire to play? No, I don't think so. Nah. I don't think so. A lot of the Saints fans on Twitter got me hyped for Chris Bell, but it depends on how he recovers from the major injury. Yeah, I mean, a lot of, you know, like that's like low-hanging fruit whenever it's like, oh, they played together, draft this guy. It's like, I mean, like when, like, does that ever actually really play that much of a, like, is it ever that big of a deal? Probably not, you know? But it is an easy storyline, you know what I mean? It is an easy storyline. Like, no, they both play together. Do that. But by the time, like, whoever you draft, you know, like Tyler Shough and Chris Olave, for example, like they played together just this year and they have incredible chemistry. You know, Chris Olave didn't go to Louisville, you know, so whoever we draft, they're going to get chemistry quick. They're going to go through camp. They're going to go through all that stuff together, and it won't matter. So, did we ever see a second look on the estimated no call? Yeah. His hip was down. He was short. I think the third down run was if I could do anything back on that, was they hurried up to the line and ran that third down run, which, okay, whatever, catch them off guard, like I understand it. But I think in that one, you get that, like that play right there, you're on like the half-yard line. Like, do you try, something easier, like a sneak with Shough, or do you try, Shough reaching over the goal line, or do you try something different there? Maybe, and then of course the OPI happens and then you have to kick a field goal. But I think that third down was probably the play where it's like, maybe you do a little something different there. But he was down. He was down. His hip was down. Yeah. I wasn't sold on Brandon Staley to be DC, but I'm so glad it's worked out. We now have the coaches on both sides of the ball. That's another good thing. Like, another good thing is that Staley's back for another year. Like, Staley's not going to be a head coaching candidate this year. He might next year. Like, if Staley and this, if the defense is as good next year as it was this year, Staley could probably be in line for like head coaching talks, but he won't this year. So you're getting Kellen Moore back, obviously. You're getting Brandon Staley back, so you're getting full continuity, defense and offense. Just that alone too. Like this year the Saints had a brand new offense install, brand new defense install, all the rookies. Like, there was so much newness, and so now you have none of that. You have none of the newness. You have, you're gonna have you're gonna have a rookie draft class, but like, there's no newness with Kellen Moore next year. There's no newness with Brandon Staley. There's no newness with Tyler Shough next year. Like, all these guys are set. They're ready. The system's the same. So that's a huge positive. That's an enormous positive. I cringe every time a team goes shotgun formation on short. Yeah, I definitely get that. Yeah, I definitely get that. I definitely get where, hey, look, you're on the half-yard line. Why are we running out of the shotgun? I get that. Like, yeah, maybe you get under center. Even something like a tush push or Shough sneak, something like that. Like, I get that for sure. James, we're getting a center or a left guard with our first draft pick. I can guarantee you right now we will not draft a center with our first pick. I can go ahead and write that down. You can go ahead and write down that we will not draft a center with our first round pick. So, I guarantee you that for sure. That is the one. That's probably the main position. I would say you can go ahead and guarantee we will not take a quarterback in the first round or a center in the first round. Everything up for grabs. Everything else up for grabs, but not those two. Those two were good. Those two were good. Man, what a ride, man. What a freaking ride. What a ride. Man, what a year. What a year. The last live stream, well, I say that. We might live stream some playoff games or stuff like that, so. The red zone plays today was like walking on eggshells. Challenging the 3-yard catch, killed the momentum for what, and chance of losing challenges. I thought that was fine because you got the challenge back or whatever. You earned the challenge. I thought that was okay. I thought that was terrible from the refs though. Like, to stop the play was crazy. My first thought is we draft wide receiver or cornerback, but you just got to take the best player. Yeah, yeah, you just take the best player available. But that's that's what I'm saying. It's such a crazy mindset to be in, where it's like, we could draft 10 positions. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, all right. Because usually it's so much of that, like, you're sweating out. You're sweating like, we got to draft a running back, or we got to draft a wide receiver, or we got to draft this, or we got to draft that. But now it's kind of like, just whatever. Like, right now, if you told me we're going to draft either Jeremiah Love, Mekhi Lemon, Mansour Delaney, or Francis Maui-Noah, I would feel pretty much the same about all 4 picks. And they're 4 wildly different picks. One's a wide receiver, one's a running back, one's a tackle, one's a cornerback. It's like, I'd be equally okay with all those picks. Same with like Caleb Downs. Like if she said, yeah, we took Caleb Downs. It's like, all right, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. And then, as y'all know, each round is just as important. I mean, we saw that this year, right? We saw how important was our 5th round picks, how important were our 3rd round picks, how important were all those guys. You know, we had 5th rounders who were playing every single snap. We're playing 3rd rounders playing every single snap. Obviously, Tyler Shough in the 2nd round. Obviously, Kelvin Banks in the top 10. You know, like, so I know the focus is going to be on our 1st round pick, but the focus, like that focus of every round, you know, like every round is important because we saw it this year. We saw how young the team is and how, you know, like everyone just kind of gets in a rotation and you just never know. You know, I'm excited to see Vele, Devin Neal, and Bub Means next year. Like we're deep, man. Like like Bub Means is. I mean, where do you think he? You know, he opens up the year as what, like the 4th wide receiver, 5th wide receiver. We're deep in certain positions, like even like running back. You know, like Devin Neal, he's going to open the year at what, the third on the depth chart. That's why this year is just so much moving and shaking. So much moving and shaking. You get guys like, and nothing, you know, I'm not, no shade to these guys, but like Mason Tipton, Bub Means, Devin Neal, Kendre Miller. It's like I'm not sure where the hell they'll be on the depth chart. No clue. Especially if we draft somebody. Like if we draft Jeremiah Love, is you got to start asking questions like, is blank running back even on the active roster? You know, is he just on the practice squad? If we draft Mekhi Lemon, Bub Means is not playing. You know, like we at that point we'd be like 6 wide receivers deep. It'd be crazy. So there's a lot of moving, a lot of dominoes that have to take place. And then you know, of course, you got your aging players. We'll see what they decide to do. DeMario said he wants to play. DeMario said he's not even DeMario's. You know, he's like, I'm not even thinking about retirement. So you would assume DeMario's going to be back. I think Cam will be back because I think he had such a good year, and I think he wants to try and compete and try and, you know, win a division title and all that stuff. And I think Taysom's probably done. I mean, the team. I think the team and Taysom will both kind of be in agreement, and he'll move on. But and then we decide with Alvin. But yeah, if Alvin's healthy and ready to roll, and if they change his deal up or restructure or something, then I wouldn't be surprised at all if Alvin's back. You know. But that's what's so crazy. Like I know it's January 4th, but right now, if you told me Alvin's going to be the starting running back next year, I'd be like, okay, I could see that. But if you told me Jeremiah Love will be the starting running back, I'm like, I could see that too. But if you told me Breece Hall's going to be the starting running back, I could probably see that too. And 2 of them aren't even on the team. You know, like 2 of the 3 players I just named aren't even available. Or they are available, but they're not even on the team. Wide receiver, same thing. Chris Olave and Devon Vele, if you told me there are 1 and 2, I believe you. If you told me it's Chris Olave and Carnell Tate, I believe you. Chris Olave and Mekhi Lemon, I believe you. Chris Olave and A.J. Brown, I believe you. Like, who knows? So all of that's going to be exciting. All of that will be, you know, a big part of this thing. It's such the team and the roster and all that's just changing just so rapidly. So rapidly. You know, just because where we are in the rebuild and youth and all of that. And now we're going to get aggressive in free agency and the draft. Davis isn't retiring. I don't think he came out and said he's not going to. He came out and said he's not interested in retiring. Cam is the question. Cam is the question of, I think the Saints would be fine with him coming back. It's just, does Cam want to play? I mean, I know I'm not saying does he want to play. It's like, is he going to retire, or does he plan on playing, another year? Man, what a ride, guys! What a freaking ride! Cam also had 9.5 sacks. Yeah, he was really good. Cam was really good this year. Cam, no notes for me. Cam was really good. His rookie of the year's over. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the interception sealed that one, unfortunately. We found our court. Yeah, no doubt. Chase was insane. Chase Young was crazy today. Chase was absolutely crazy. He's so good, man. What a deal. What a deal. Yeah, got to get, I mean, for sure. Better starts next year is a must. Yeah, I mean, this was just silly mistakes this game. Yeah, whether it was the field goal, the fumble, the block punt, OPI, like all that stuff, it was just like, it happens. It happens. But good effort today from everybody. Good effort from the team. Defense was crazy. Turnovers got us. Turnovers got us. Count the block punt as a turnover. You can even count the missed field goal as a turnover. You do it that way. You're like, at that point, you have like 4 turnovers, and it's already difficult to win a game with the injuries and the roster we had and all that stuff. And then, you turn the ball over 4 times, and it's like, it's impossible. So it's unfortunate. I mean, the players deserved it. Like, the players deserved better. But that's football for you. And as long as, y'all know how it is, as long as it is an oblong-shaped ball bouncing around the field, random things will happen. Absolutely. Yeah, first play of the game, fumble. Yeah, never what you want. Never what you want. Yeah, punt block on your own 5, never what you want. Crazy. Myles Garrett. Yeah, I saw that. Did Joe Burrow lay down? Who knows? You don't think he wins Rookie of the Year? No, I don't think he can now. I do not. No, he could have. If he doesn't throw the pick and they win the game, I think he wins it. He did exactly what. This was crazy too. Like, we talked about it before the game. We talked about like what Shough needed to do, and we were saying somewhere around 275 and 3 touchdowns. And if he doesn't throw the pick and they win, that's exactly where he would have been. He would have, assuming he gets a touchdown in the last drive, and he would have won. It's exactly what he needed, and it came down to one play. But that's the world we live in. So I don't think he can win it now, unfortunately. But it was right there. It was right there, man. It was right there for the taking. Who do you think wins it? I think it'll be Tet wins it by default, or if Travion Henderson goes nuts in this game, I think he can win it. But Henderson needs 2 more touchdowns and probably 100 more yards. So if he ends up with like 120 and 3 touchdowns, I think he can win it. But if he does not, then I think McMillan will win by default. So It's fine. Tyler doesn't need Rookie of the Year. He's looking good and can be our future quarterback. That's all that matters. Yeah, I mean, in this situation, I mean, I know people who, they would have made $20,000, and that's some serious money. That could have, put people in a good spot and fixed a lot of problems for people and erased a lot of stress for people, and that matters too. So I feel for them. I feel for that. I told this story whenever we were talking about Rookie of the Year in one of the videos, but I remember like right after I bought my house back in like 2016 or something like that. I remember having like $10 in my bank account, because you remember, like, if you ever bought a house, like, you pay all these crazy closing fees, and you pay all these, you got to start your power and your water, and just $100 here, $300 here, whatever. And I remember thinking at that time, like, man, if I could just like find $10,000, like a lottery or a radio station giveaway or just something, like, that would fix everything, And that's what this Tyler Shough Rookie of the Year was for a lot of people. A lot of people were staring down, just stumbling on $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. So, I know not everyone cares about Rookie of the Year, but I definitely feel for the viewers and then the people who were in that situation. And I wish I could have got that for them. I wish we could have crossed that finish line. I mean, I had someone tell me that it was going to pay for their wedding. Like, that would have been such a cool thing. That would have been so that's why I care so much about Rookie of the Year. It was really for the viewers. So it was one of those things where it kind of like transcended football for a second. It was like, yeah, it's an award. Yeah, it's part of the game. But because of the unique situation, it like transcended what was going on. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, 4-hour, 20-minute Blaze Up stream. Last Saints game of the year. What a ride. What an 18 weeks. What a 4 quarters. Cannot believe season 1 of Kellen Moore, Tyler Shough has concluded. And now, just like any other TV show or any other a book or whatever, we sit back and we wait. And we wait for the second season. The good news is that the season has been ordered. They're ordering the second season of this show. There's no we don't have to worry about Kellen Moore on the hot seat or Tyler Shough on the hot seat or whatever. We know we're getting a season 2 of this. So, and we'll see, we'll see what happens in season 2. Season 2, you're not guaranteed season 2 is like season 1. Like Mac Jones. We saw what happened with Mac Jones in his second year. You know what I mean? But we'll see. But it's exciting. I feel good about it. I'm happy about where the team's at. I'm happy how they played the back half of the season. Saints Forever 24 super chatted $15. Big kudos to you and your content this season. Can't wait to see what the face of the franchise brings in the offseason. Thank you very much, man, for watching. That was crazy. It's crazy the support this year. And we're definitely going to pump a ton of content out. All offseason. It's not going to stop. So, Easy E, super chatted $4.99. Thank you for the content, James. Happy how we fought down the stretch and found our quarterback. Let's get some weapons. Who dat? There you go. Yeah. All good things. All positive things for sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for hanging out with me. 1,500 viewers, over 4 hours and 20 minutes. James, thank you for a great season. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for a great season, man. Thank y'all for a great season. Thanks for the content, James. I'll tune into some of the off-season stuff as well. Congrats on the growth. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow, it's just Monday. It's just Monday, which means content. So we'll be pumping out the content all week. Nothing changes. Nothing stops. So video, I'll post this video in 30 minutes or so whenever the stuff starts rendering. And then we're back at it like a crack addict, man. Tomorrow we'll have videos and on to the next one, right? All right. Thank you very much, everybody. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for the continued support this season. Day in, day out, video in, video out. Best community in the world, best community on YouTube, no doubt about it. The engagements, the comments, all that stuff. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I do not take it for granted. I know what it's like. I did YouTube for 10 years without having more than 100 subscribers. I was doing videos for 50 people like 3 years ago. So it's not lost on me to sit here and watch the games with 1,500 people or have 5, 10, 20, 30, 40,000 people watch my videos. So I think we had over 5 million views this season. So that's crazy. The support is insane. It's the best thing I could ask for is this community. So there's no other community would I rather go through a season than all of you. I appreciate that. Face the franchise, aka King of Content. There it is. Greatness doesn't have an off season. It does not. Great things to come, brother. W, my man. WW. Wild congrats. Good stuff, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow because there is no off season. GG Saints. Fought hard. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you